Welcome to This Explainer. We're diving right into a disorienting, gray world that feels uncomfortably, well, terrifyingly familiar. We are exploring the absolute masterpiece of bureaucratic anxiety, Franz Kafka's The Trial. Today, we're really focusing on the immense psychological weight of this story. We're going to map out a nightmare that offers absolutely zero clean resolutions. It's a total descent into a system that defies reason and just crushes the individual. All right, let's jump in.
Picture this. You wake up one morning in your own bed. You haven't done anything out of the ordinary, but suddenly there are strangers, officials, just standing right there in your room. And they casually let you know that your life as a free person, it's over. And they give you absolutely zero explanation. They won't read you your rights, they absolutely will not tell you the charge, and just like what happens to our protagonist Joseph K., they might even be eating your breakfast while they interrogate you in your own boarding house. It's so intensely violating. The sheer absurdity of this moment kicks off an agonizing journey. You're left completely disoriented, desperately scrambling for a rational explanation where there simply isn't one.
This is the exact absurd reality Joseph K. faces, and it drops us right into an inescapable psychological trap. I mean, how do you defend yourself against a crime that doesn't even exist? If you don't know the accusation, how on earth do you mount a defense? Every single action you take, every frantic word you speak could inadvertently be used as proof of your guilt by an authority that totally refuses to show its hand. You are effectively shadowboxing in the dark. And it creates this state of constant, paralyzing paranoia, where your own memory and your own actions become your worst enemies. You find yourself scrutinizing every past conversation, every minor transgression, wondering, wait, is that the thing they're holding against me?
Arrested without a crime. Now, this brilliantly illustrates the total breakdown of reason. In a normal justice system, we have a clear, chronological narrative, right? A crime occurs, an arrest is made, a trial evaluates the facts, and then a verdict is reached. It's linear. It makes perfect sense. But Joseph K.'s reality? It skips the crime entirely and defaults straight to a labyrinth of unending guilt. There is this massive, gaping void right in the middle of his reality where the crime should be. And that is the void where logic literally goes to die, replaced only by a suffocating, perpetual state of just being accused. The burden of proof is completely flipped. You're assumed guilty. But guilty of what? The system won't say.
The faceless, bureaucratic machine.
We're talking about a massively oppressive machine here, an opaque, complex administrative system where authority is totally diffused, the rules are hidden, and the individual is rendered completely powerless. You know that feeling when you're trapped in an endless automated phone tree? Or maybe you're fighting an unexplainable algorithmic ban on social media? It's kind of like that, but infinitely darker and with incredibly high stakes. There's no manager you can ask to speak to. There is no customer service line. The system just exists. It's vast, it's indifferent, and it is entirely beyond human logic. It's this self-sustaining entity that doesn't care about justice at all. It only cares about perpetuating its own endless processes. And the crazy thing is, the deeper you try to look into it, the more sprawling and disconnected it becomes.
The burden of unknown guilt.
So let's say we try to map out a logical procedure to clear his name. We end up with this deeply unsettling circular trap where taking action only breeds more futility. Okay, step 1. You submit a blind appeal for a crime you don't even know you committed, drafting endless, agonizing pages defending your entire life's history. Step 2. You await a hearing that simply never comes or it gets endlessly postponed by minor clerks. Step 3. Go back to step 1. The absolute genius and the terror of Kafka's entrapment is that the process itself is the punishment. This endless cycle of trying to prove your innocence, the constant meetings, the complete draining of your finances, the paranoia, it becomes the very mechanism that destroys your life. You are literally consumed by the bureaucracy until there's nothing left of who you used to be. Navigating the endless labyrinth. It's fascinating to notice how the physical environments perfectly mirror Kay's psychological state. Hidden attics, unwritten rules, totally ignorant officials. These things don't add up to a court of law. They add up to a suffocating maze designed to induce sheer panic. Instead of grand halls of justice with imposing marble pillars and bright clear lighting, Kay is summoned to cramped, squalid apartment attics located in the poorest districts of the city. The air in these waiting rooms is literally described as unbreathable, actually causing Kay to faint from the incredibly oppressive atmosphere. It completely strips the court of any dignity and replaces it with this grimy, mundane horror. The administration of justice is basically tucked away in the dusty, forgotten corners of the world, operating right over the heads of everyday citizens.
The sheer, overwhelming nature of this system leaves Kay, and honestly, it leaves us too, completely helpless as we try to grasp at answers that simply aren't there. Because every time you think you understand how this court operates, the floor just falls out from under you. You're searching for clarity in a world constructed entirely of gray, cold tones and shifting shadows. For example, take Kay's interactions with the court painter, Titorelli. The painter casually explains that a true acquittal is basically a myth, something you only hear about in legends. Instead, your best hope is an ostensible acquittal, where you're temporarily freed but could be rearrested at literally any moment. Or you might get an indefinite postponement, which just stretches this agonizing process out forever. The rules are specifically designed so you can never, ever truly win.
It really feels like every frantic attempt to find an exit just violently shoves us deeper into this cold, gray labyrinth. You move forward hoping for a way out, hoping to finally reach a high judge who can explain things, only to find another bureaucratic dead end. Just another meaningless waiting room packed with other exhausted, accused people. There are doors absolutely everywhere, but none of them lead out. They just lead to lower-level officials who have absolutely no real power, who endlessly shuffle papers and pass the buck. It's basically an architectural manifestation of a psychological breakdown. The harder Kay fights the system, the more entangled he becomes in its endless corridors.
I mean, just listen to this chilling reality. The proceedings are not only kept secret from the general public, but from the accused as well. Let the heavy, inescapable bleakness of that fact sink in for a second. How can justice possibly exist if the person whose life is on the line isn't even allowed to know what their own trial is about? Even the defense lawyer that Kay hires is practically useless. He operates on rumors and whims because even the lawyers aren't allowed to see the official court documents. It is the ultimate expression of bureaucratic tyranny. This system exists entirely for itself, completely divorced from any concept of truth or fairness.
No escape, no resolution.
If we trace his journey from the abrupt morning of his arrest all the way to his utter exhaustion, we see a timeline completely devoid of answers, closure, or justice. Notice how the timeline just devolves. It starts with this jarring event, but there's no triumphant courtroom speech waiting at the end. There's no aha moment of revelation where the big misunderstanding is cleared up. There is just an inevitable, unexplained end that swallows Joseph K. whole. After a year of being completely ground down by the invisible machinery of the court, two men in frock coats arrive, lead him to a quarry, and execute him. His final words, like a dog, perfectly encapsulate the complete strip mining of his human dignity. The system doesn't just kill him, it renders his entire existence entirely meaningless. And so, without any answers whatsoever, we are left staring at the ultimate, unresolved trap of this faceless machine. If the system never tells you what you did wrong, are you ever truly innocent? Or does the mere fact of being perpetually accused by an unyielding bureaucracy eventually make you guilty by default? Kafka leaves this agonizingly ambiguous. He offers us no comfort, no neat wrap-up, and absolutely no way out. Because the trial is never really about a specific crime. It's about the inescapable, existential guilt of navigating a modern, absurd world. It's a pretty chilling thought to take with you today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep questioning those invisible labyrinths around you.